Hello and welcome to the Empathy Podcast. This podcast seeks to explore the minds of those who not only understand or experience empathy, but of those who wish to take action, build, and practice empathetic behavior through conscious decision and responsible lifestyle choices. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, this podcast might be just for you. So sit back, relax, and use what you were born with. Empathy.
All right. Hello there, everyone. Today we are delighted on the Empathy Podcast with Jeanette, Misfit Vegan. She goes by online. You may be seeing her everywhere, sharing her messages everywhere. Eat fruit, be cute, and all that goodness. And so I'm really excited to share her story and share a little bit more about her. And the other thing that I'm really love about you too, that not a lot of people talk about, but I love your mindset and all the things that you talk about mindset and just pushing. And it's really true, you know, because most of this is mindset. Like right now I'm doing a 30-day David Goggins challenge, which is for my mindset, right? And we both went to the same Gary V conference in a different location. I'm in San Diego. I know you're over there, but we went to the same one. So I'm like, we're definitely on the same page. Gary V was like the first person when I was online, like trying to figure it out. My dad had just passed away. Part of my story is my dad committed suicide and changed my life around. That's why I started healing, started my transformation after that, and like looking for a role model. Gary V was kind of like, honestly, one of my first like role models as a male. Like when I was trying to figure out online stuff that I looked up to. Part of the name Empathy Podcast, by the way, was inspired by Gary V as well. He had a company called the Empathy Wines he sold, and talked about empathy all the time. And I was like, that's it. And he also inspired me to start my podcast in the beginning. He made a post. It was like a podcaster triple threat, like maybe 6-7 years ago or whatever. And he was like, you create the content, right? Let's say you have this interview and let's say it's an hour or whatever it is. And then you put that on the podcast. Well, now you have the one medium, right? That you put it on, you know, all the podcast networks. And let's say you record the video. Well, now you can put it on YouTube. You got another one, right? Maybe do a bunch of little clips for it. Well, now you got a bunch more content. You called it a triple threat. And I was trying to figure out more content, how to help people. I was like, that's so smart. Like, that's what I'm going to do. You know, so I did some of that. But anyways, there you go. For me a little bit. And so, yeah, share a little bit about you. Who are you? What's your story?
Hi, well, my name is Jeanette. I'm really interested in what challenge you're doing with Goggins. So, what is this challenge?
So there isn't an official 30-day David, or there's an official workout challenge for David Goggins that he created. But I saw several people doing, I'm going to do a challenge, a challenge of 30 days, 120 days, all these different challenges with David Goggins. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I like it, and I'm going to try it. So it's not perfect. It's not exact science, but it's generally about 12 miles, 12 miles a day, 25 miles on the bike, 2 times a day, 100 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, 100 sit-ups, and one specific exercise. And one
Okay, send me this challenge. I'm down for anything that is a Goggins challenge. Anything related to David Goggins, I'm going to do. I'm interested. So send me that, please. Okay, so my name is Jeanette. And I started this channel called Misfit Vegan because I really wanted to be fit. I was going to school to be a personal trainer in 2017. That's when I started Misfit Vegan. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna be fit and I'm gonna be super inspiring to the world. And the truth is that I'm still on that journey. Because I don't love exercise. I'm not a naturally fit person at all. I come from an obese family. My family has passed away from diabetes, cancer, being overweight, strokes, heart attacks. So I come from a very unhealthy family bloodline. And, what happened was in 2010, I saw a documentary and I went vegan, and then I found the raw food diet. I went raw.
What's the documentary, if you don't mind? I saw Food Inc. I saw What the Health that changed my mind.
Wow.
But I was super sick in bed, like praying for anything. And I didn't care about health at all. I was like, I'll eat whatever I want. I don't care. I'm like dying, like about to die. And I'm like, okay, let's listen to what this documentary says.
Mm-hmm. I saw Food Inc. randomly because I wanted to lose weight. Saw it. Didn't care about what I was eating, but I cared about the animals because I didn't realize I was paying for people to hurt animals. Never, ever occurred to me. So I went vegan in 2000, vegetarian in 2010 when I saw that documentary. And then in 2011, I found the raw food diet and never looked back, because the raw food diet is the only diet that I've ever been able to stick to. I mean, it's been 15 years now, and it's the only thing that's ever worked for me. I personally love to eat. It's like, I know they say you shouldn't like live to eat. You should eat to live. Wait, you shouldn't eat to live. You should live to eat. I don't know. Either way, I love to eat. Okay. So, like, I just can't do diets. I don't have that in me. I'm not a disciplined person. I look up to David Goggins because he's very disciplined. I don't have that. I love food and I love to eat, and I cannot be on a diet. So when I tried the raw food diet, it was the only thing that worked, because you can eat as much as you want and still lose weight and still look good and still be healthy. So that's what works for me. It's worked for 15 years. And now I'm so blessed and grateful that I get to teach people how to do it. I never thought in a million years that this would be a job. Like, this is my job. So I write books and I have courses, and I just recently got my certification to be a hypnotherapist to help my clients with their food addiction and to break free from the subconscious false beliefs that we've had around food and around our life and around our body and around our habits. So yeah, that's what I do. And I always put up YouTube videos every single day, at least once a day. And I coach people through my courses. And yeah, that's who I am. And that's right. Oh, and I run my own retreat company, and I run the Woodstock Fruit Festival as well. So that's just a few things that I do.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I'm definitely super inspired by you, and you're just crushing it, you know, and everything
Thank
you do.
That's a great book by Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Crush It is one of my
Yeah.
favorite books.
That one's amazing. And yeah, I definitely appreciate it and all that you do. And what I've noticed as talking to so many people, you know, whether there's some similarities or some differences, because there's all kinds of, you know, differences within the plant-based community, right? But I believe that we're all better together and we all need to work together. And I believe in these collaborations, and whatever they are and however they come about. And I see, and I know you see a lot of it, you know, the infighting and stuff like that. And a lot of the, you know, oh, well, you're not perfectly this way and that way, and you're not doing enough and you're not doing it right. And all, you know, all the things, you know, and it's definitely tough, and I get it. You know, I'm guilty of it sometimes too, for sure. But in general, yeah, I definitely believe in that we're all doing our part and we're all working together, and it's just about us improving and how we can help people in our own way. Like, you have your own truly unique, special way that you help people, and you maintain that, and you're always looking to learn and always looking to grow. And I feel similar to me on my own way, on my own things that I do, right? And I help people in my own way, right? As well as I'm always learning, always growing, always wanting to improve. And I think that's one of the best things that anyone could do. And what we could do, sometimes we're like, oh, well, gosh, I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as Misfit Vegan, so I'm gonna stop. I can't help people like her, you know? And or some people I even see, or like maybe you even work with, is like, oh, I need to get more certified, I need to learn more, I need to be more educated, I need to be more better, I need more fit, I need to be more this, and they never end up helping anyone or making a difference, because they're always like, I need to be more and more and more. And so yeah, it's just I just commend you, and it's just so amazing. And
Thank you. Let's talk about that for a second, because that is the secret to life. As you know, you're into self-development. I can see that. Obviously, you know, you're following Gary Vee and David Goggins and people like that, and you're going to these events. That's me too. I'm really obsessed with improvement and self-development. And it changed my life when I realized I had to start before I was ready. So like I said, I started this Misfit Vegan Instagram and YouTube in 2017. I was raw, you know, for a long time. I've been raw since 2011, so I was raw for a while, I guess 6 years. And then I started my YouTube and my Instagram, but I was not fit. I'm still not in the shape that I want to be in, right? And the crazy thing is that even though I'm not in the shape I want to be in, and I'm not like the fittest person on earth, I'm teaching workouts 4 days a week to my private community, and I'm getting paid to do that. How crazy is that? That's crazy, right? And people are losing weight. Actually, one of my women today, congratulations to Nicole, she's now in the hundreds. She has never been under 200 pounds in her adult life. And she lost over 100 pounds working out with me. And she's 198 today. And so congratulations to her. And I honestly cannot believe that I almost didn't do this, because I was waiting my whole life, to be fit in order to inspire people or to be like the healthiest, most beautiful looking vegan. And the truth is that it's just never going to happen. Always going to find a reason to not do it. Always find a reason that we're not good enough. And the whole certification thing, I know so many people that take so many classes and get so many certifications and they never do anything with it. And truth be told, I just got my first certification. I've been working for myself for the last 5 years. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a personal trainer. I have no specialty in besides eating fruit and being cute. And you know what? I'm doing that. So fuck it. I'm going to teach other people how to do that too. And, I love what you said about we're all different, which is really true because there's people that Fully Raw Christina will speak to and they are going to help. She can help so many people because they are like her and they want to do what she's doing. I have people that I'm going to speak to that she cannot reach and and so on and so on. So, we don't need to say, oh, there's so many people out there doing this already. Yeah, but you're not doing this. Like you are irreplaceable. There are people that can only get the message from you. And yeah, all the people like, ugh, this is just crazy to me to think about that there's so many people out there comparing themselves, to people. And it's like, if I were to compare myself to Fully Raw Christina, I would never have started because I don't have 1 million followers. I don't have the money to invest in, the lighting and the camera people and this and that and whatever. So it's like build an organic farm. I do everything on my phone. I have these $25 headphones. I don't have a camera person. I don't have an editor. I never edit videos. I don't have scripts. I don't have fancy equipment. And I'm still able to do this. And the only reason is because I started before I'm ready. I'm still not ready. I'm sure you're not ready most days. Yeah, I'm not ready for this podcast. So it's like
ready. We need to restart. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I don't have pants on. So, we're not ready. No, I do. Oh, no, I don't. I have shorts. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that we're not ready and you're never going to be ready. And you got to start this anyway. With the raw food diet, you ain't never going to be ready to change your diet. Like if anybody out there is listening to this and they want to go raw or, you want to try a vegan diet or a raw food diet, you will never be ready. So you might as well start now, like in the way you can, the best way you can. If you have to just focus on breakfast, then focus on breakfast. If you have to focus on breakfast and lunch, then do that. But you cannot just keep doing all or nothing, 100% perfect or 100% unhealthy, because that's going to lead you to a life of pain and regret and obesity and diabetes and just a life you do not want to live in a body that you do not want to be in. So you got to start now. You got to start now in the small little ways that you can. I don't know. What was the question?
I agree.
Was there any question? Oh, okay, no.
No questions. I agree 1,000%. And yeah, that's how I started. And I just see people that want to help. I mean, if I was like, oh, I need to be so fit to help people with exercises, it'd be like same, everything that you just said, is all the same things that could go through my mind. Right?
If I would have waited till I was Chef Babette fit or Massey Aries fit, I would not be getting fit and having this amazing community and helping my fruity cutie, Nicole. Her name is Just the Plants Ma'am on social media. She lost over 100 pounds working out with me. I would have never helped somebody in Canada work out and lose 100 pounds. And that's just one example. And I have a whole book of testimonials of people that I've helped by me starting before I was ready. And, all the time I want to change my name, Misfit Vegan, right? Because I'm not the fittest vegan, right? And that just, to me, it doesn't make sense that I have this name, but then I transformed it into Misfit, like a weirdo. You know what I mean? And I'm also on my journey. And one day I will be super, super fit. I just got to stay consistent and keep going. And that's, I mean, yeah, I'm still in my baby stages of fitness, but, yeah. Anyway, I just really feel that everyone listening to this, for some reason, the universe has you listening to remind you that you're never going to be ready and you have to start now or else you will never start. You have to start when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And then you learn how to do it.
We also don't have time, like the people that need help, we don't have time. Like really, like whatever's going on in the world, like the food is not getting better. Like, let's be honest, the food and the water is not getting better. Okay. So we just don't have time. And so we got to do what we got to do. All right. So let's talk you talk a lot about perfection and a lot about like this raw veganism and 90% raw and what does it mean and stuff like that. And I know that I battled with that myself and I understand and I see a lot of people that I help with as well, and they're raw vegan or whatever they decide to be, and just struggling with I'm maintaining my juicing, or I'm maintaining my raw veganism, or I'm maintaining this. Oh, I made a mistake. Now I'm not raw vegan anymore, or whatever, and all these sort of things. But I like a lot of the words that you say, and I like the way that it makes the most sense to me too, right? Is like a lot of like the 90%, and some of that, right? So what could you share about, eating this lifestyle and just not being perfect and some of the challenges there?
Yeah, well, I don't know what 90% means exactly. I'm not sure what that is, but here's what I do personally. Okay, so I eat raw, but I have a list of help foods that help me stay raw. And those foods are not raw. But if you are trying to be perfect, you might as well just give up. That's number one. You might as well just not even just keep eating McDonald's. Okay, because it's not going to work. We're going to have to understand that we're living in the real world and we can do our best and we can be so healthy, but we cannot be perfect because perfection sets you up for failure. So I was a perfect raw vegan for 6 years, from 2011 to 2017. In 2017, I had like a major life change. I broke up with my boyfriend. I was fired from my company. I had major teeth issues as a raw vegan, and it was a whole thing. And I just was trying to be perfect for so long, and it didn't work. And in 2017, I realized that I was eating an unhealthy raw vegan diet, trying to be perfect. I was eating a lot of dried fruit. I didn't know how to take care of my teeth. I was eating everything organic, but that means I couldn't ever eat any tropical fruit or even grapes if I couldn't find them organic. I couldn't eat the things I wanted because I couldn't find them organic. And I was driving myself crazy and I was stressed out. So then I changed. Ever since 2017, I changed my approach and I have become much more healthier and realistic and just flexible in order to enjoy my life and sustain this raw food thing. So this list of health foods has really been a game changer for me. If anybody wants, you can email me and I'll send you the list. All right. It's about maybe 20 foods and you can just email me. I'm sure you'll put my email below, jd@misfitvegan.com. I will send you this list because it's things like cashews. Okay. Cashews are not raw, but they help me stay raw. Okay. Maple syrup. It's not raw, but I like maple syrup sometimes, in dressings, or I make a honey mustard with maple syrup, mustard, and tahini. It's a really good dressing. There's certain foods that you need to help you stay raw. Okay. So I don't try to be perfect anymore. So I do the best I can. And I just personally eat fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds for 15 years now. And I don't even mind if it's not 100% raw. I don't care about that. I care about health. I'm a raw vegan for health, number one, because I watched my family leave this earth because of their own fork. And I refuse to be another person in that bloodline. I refuse to continue on what my family was doing. I refuse. And I've become more religious over the years. And I just really feel that my body is a temple and I was created to take care of it. Okay. I feel this body's on loan and I have to give it back when I die. And I really believe my creator is going to be like, what? Like, what did you do? Or he's going to say, I'm proud of you, Jeanette. Thank you. Thank you for taking care of this vessel that I created so you can come to this earth to make it a little bit better because you're here. Okay. So, I don't try to be perfect. I live the most natural way in an unnatural world. So while I'm not trying to be perfect, I also personally do not take any supplements. I don't personally believe in synthetic supplementation. I do supplement my raw food diet with push-ups and planks and squats and walking outside and motivational videos and reading and, deep breathing and journaling and, EFT. I like to do emotional freedom technique every day. I supplement my raw food diet with those kind of things, positive thinking. All right. And hanging around positive, motivated people. But I do not take synthetic supplements. And so some people might try to call me like a natural hygienist or, trying to be perfect. But no, I just, I am flexible enough in my raw food diet to not have to always stress about organic, but I'm also somebody who I have my own opinion, and I do not need nor believe in, for me personally, synthetic supplementation. So yeah, I teach people to go with their gut and go with how they feel best. If you are scared to not take a B12 supplement, I always recommend my clients take a B12 supplement. There's brands that I recommend that are vegan, of course, and that are very clean. I have my own theories, my own opinions, and I'm living my own lifestyle in my own body. Everyone here needs to feel really good and comfortable with what they're doing. So there's never a time when I'm going to say my way or no or the highway, right? Because that's my body, my choice. You have a body, you have a choice. I definitely believe all of us need to be eating a vegan diet. And I don't know if we want to get into that, but that is, just, I mean, to me, it's obvious we're not here to hurt other beings. But when it comes to being healthy, there's so many ways to be healthy. And the most important thing is that you feel good and you feel confident in what you're doing. And that's it. And that's what I teach and what I promote. So yeah.
I love it. And I think I'm in agreement with you in most, for sure, definitely, in terms of like what helps you feel the best. Like I have so many options for people just to help them feel the best, because that was my goal, in the beginning, just like what you said. I really want to help people feel the best, and do the best that I can with that. And I think the 90%, maybe I heard you say something, or help me hear so many different things, maybe I just some random thing that I heard, but
Maybe it had to do with high raw. Some
know.
people want to do high raw, and I don't know, but
Yeah, maybe. But anyways, I was gonna say, I think for myself, I don't have like I'm raw vegan, I'm vegan, I'm this. Like, it's like I talk about some of the ideas and some of the principles for sure. Right before I definitely was, but I just did a conscious kind of thing with labels, like the best that I could, because I didn't want people to say, oh, you are this based on this label and prejudge versus getting to know me. Right. Like I'm Kevin, right? I like things, right? I like fruits. I like watermelons, right? And I like animals, or whatever, right? And I want to help you. And so definitely an interesting shift. I understand we go through these different shifts. Some people are like, no labels and this and that, so it's a little bit one of those things. But how I actually eat, when I really think about it, and I'm like, what I categorize in, it was probably definitely high raw for sure. Like when I really break down everything that I eat, it's fruits is number one for sure. Lots of greens. And I don't eat that much. That's the most, that's the most that I eat, is really that. It isn't that much, like it's almost rarely cooked food for sure. And also like not even a lot of nuts. I know I used to, I remember before, but like now I'm thinking about it, like I don't even have like that much, like right now I have dates right here next to me, and I love dates and they're incredible. Right. And I just had green juice, and so I'm just, just, that's pretty much, I made a post also when I think about diets too. Just recently I said, I don't follow diets because they have a beginning and end. I live a lifestyle, mindful of what I eat every day.
Yes, and I think it's important. If the labels stress you out, you gotta let it go. And some people, they like the labels. I mean, me personally, yeah, I label myself a raw vegan because I don't cook food. I don't cook food, and it doesn't stress me out. Some people, if they call themselves raw, they get stressed out because they're like, I can never eat cooked food again. All right, let it go. Let it go, because the creator created you to create an amazing life and help people and make this world a little better because you're here. So you don't need to be stressing out about these things. But at the end of the day, we do need to eat healthy because we have a responsibility to be healthy and to feel good and to help other people. How can we possibly live our life purpose if we're sick, if we're overweight, if we're in the hospital, if we're a burden? That is not why we're here. So I am committed. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, as you know. Some people out there might be listening and they might be saying, but it's so hard for me. Well, first of all, that's the first step. You have to stop saying that. You have to stop saying that. I've been rereading one of my favorite books, which is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Have you read this, Kevin? You will love this book. Have you read it?
No, I haven't. I want to.
33 pages or something like that. 34 pages. It is
Write it down.
Phenomenal. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And you will love this book. It is such a small little book. And I've read it, I don't know how many times, over and over and over again. It's so good. And one of the biggest, secrets in this book is about, our thoughts create our life. And we know this, but we don't really know it. Okay. When you read this book, you will start to really be reminded of how powerful you are. And if you keep saying it's so hard for you to be healthy, there is no way that it's going to be easy. So I had to lie to myself in the beginning because I come from McDonald's and M&Ms and everything, right? And so I had to say, it's so easy for me to be healthy. It's so easy for me to lose weight. It's so easy for me to be raw. And it wasn't, but I had to keep saying it over and over again. And it worked. And then I did the same thing with, I wanted to work for myself. I hated working for other people. I don't like being told what to do. Okay. I just don't like it. I don't even like telling myself what to do, So basically, I remember saying, okay, well, that worked with the food thing. Let me see if this will work with my job. So I started saying over and over again, I'm a business owner. I have a successful business. I am a business owner. I work for myself. And I don't know how, but it happened and I don't know. So yeah, I'm just saying there's something here. We are powerful beyond our belief and there's something here. So first off, stop your negative thoughts. Even if it's true, stop saying it because even if it's true, you don't want it to continue to be true. So stop saying what you don't want and think to yourself, okay, well, what do I want? What do I want? There's another great book called The Law of Attraction by Michael J. Lozier. And he says every time you start stressing out about something or saying some negative things or thinking about what you don't want in life, say to yourself, okay, well, what do I want? All right, I don't feel good right now. Okay, how do I want to feel? What do I want? And just start writing that down or just start thinking that because our thoughts are out of control. And it's just, you're going to just keep living the same unhealthy life over and over. You're just going to live the same Groundhog's Day until you stop that, until you make a decision to stop and just start pretending to be a healthy person. Like, how do you think I did this? I didn't just become a healthy person. I started pretending like, okay, what would a raw vegan eat? I went to the store and I bought all this fruit and vegetables. What would a raw vegan eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner? How would a raw vegan think? What would a raw vegan house look like? What would their fridge look like? What would a raw vegan be doing? What would a raw vegan be learning about? What recipes would they be, what books would they be reading? What would a successful person, so pretend, we're always playing a role anyway. We're always pretending anyway. Okay. Like right now, I'm in the role of somebody who's being interviewed, right? Like you go to work, you're pretending to be a cashier. You're pretending to be an architect. You're pretending to be, you were always acting. So you might as well start acting like a person you want to become. So that is my best advice when it comes to like food and diets. And, like you said, I love what you said, which a diet, yeah. I mean, I follow the raw food diet, but like it's a lifestyle. Let's just be honest because a diet ends and we don't want that. Okay. When the diet ends, the weight comes back. We don't want to lose weight and gain it all back. So yeah, I just really recommend everyone just starts pretending and playing the role of a healthy person. What would they do? Would they work out? Yeah, that's how I'm getting so fit. I'm getting fit because I am pretending to be a fit person. Okay.
I got you. I'm with you. I'm with you on the fit journey right now. I made a post that David Goggins, it was a recording that I did, like a screen recording. I just shared it. And it was something that you said about God, that he said about God that I liked, that was similar to what you said, kind of like when he goes to heaven, like what is God going to say to him?
Yeah, I got it from him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what you got it from
that I say, everything good that I say, I got it from him. Goggins and Andy Frisella and those two guys, I love them so much and they have helped me tremendously. And yeah, Goggins, yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about, where he says he's on stage and he talks about going in front of God and he's like, a lot of the things that you said, but I like that he's like, I'm going to be running to heaven. And it was just so funny. Like,
yeah. So yeah, he says like, when I die, I want God to say, I don't want God to say, you were supposed to be this, and this. He wants God to say, whoa, I didn't know a human could do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really cool. And whatever you believe in doesn't matter. It's like, do you like whatever religion you believe in or whatever? The point is, you are not supposed to suffer here. You are not supposed to come here to suffer, and especially suffer at your own fork, like by your own decisions, right? There's suffering that happens that we can't control, but when you suffer based on your own decisions, that's when you know something has to change. Something has to change in your life. And you're listening to this podcast because you are meant to be reminded that you were born to be healthy and happy and abundant and feel good and creative and make a difference in this world. And you know, if you fucked up your health, you got to earn it back. That's just, you were born healthy, but you might have fucked that up, eating unhealthy food. So you got to earn it back. And you got to put in the reps and make the good choices and literally put in the reps, put in the push-ups and put in the squats and get your health back. And you can do it. We can all do it. We all have the options every single day to make the right decisions to lead us to a better future.
Yeah, 1000%. I mean, I believe it. I mean, I wouldn't have believed it until I did it, for sure. Like,
yes.
I was, I mean, in bed dying from an autoimmune disease that was causing extreme pain. It was causing my spine to fuse together. It was so painful. It's called ankylosing spondylitis.
Wow. And you know what you just said was good. What you just said was good, Kevin. You said, I wouldn't have believed it until I did it, because the action comes before the belief. Like, of course, you're not going to believe my client who was 300 pounds. She could not believe that she could lose 100 pounds until she lost 100 pounds. And now even she's like, I can't believe this. Okay. Me too. I was 180 pounds. I'm 5'3". That's too much for a 5'3" person. Right. And I lost the weight, but I didn't believe I could do it until I did it. I don't believe I'm going to be able to do my first TED Talk until I do my first TED Talk. Like, the action comes before the belief. So you're going to have to lie to yourself and play the role of a fit person, of a healthy person, until you actually become that. And then you'll believe it. Or maybe you won't even believe it then. You'll still be walking around being like, I can't believe I healed, right? Like, some days I'm sure you're like, I can't believe. Yeah.
Gratitude. Always grateful. I feel bad to where it was and how much better it is, so that I can keep going, versus thinking like, oh, I'm not making enough progress or whatever, you know, the mindset games that we play with ourselves.
Yes.
But I feel like doing that and accomplishing, you know, that is something that adds so much damage inside my body. Like what you were saying, there was so much damage, right, that I'd done to myself, right? The food addiction, I know you talk about food addiction. I mean, it was definitely a food addiction for me, for sure, right? The fast food I was so addicted to, and the convenience foods. And I just realized I didn't know any different. Like, you think about how our raised is like, that convenience lifestyle really started hitting us, you know. And if your parents didn't know any better, if that's what they did, because that was much easier, you know. My dad was by himself or whatever, you know, single dad or single mothers or whatever situation, you know, some people go through. And it's just like, on the way home, like the cheapest thing for feeding the family that my dad thought the quickest, most convenient thing for feeding the family was a family meal at Taco Bell. And that was on the way home. And that was like one of them, or is that or McDonald's? But actually McDonald's was more expensive than the family meal at Taco Bell, right? Because it's like bean and cheese burritos. And that was what school was too. But like, I remember like school was like, I'm in San Diego, you know, you think like America's finest city. Like, school is like, all I remember is eating bean and cheese burritos and chocolate chip cookies. Like, I can't really remember anything else, like, at all.
Yeah, I can relate. Yeah, I grew up on fast food. And I didn't know that, you know, it's so interesting because you think that because it's sold in a store or there's a restaurant or it's a fast food place that it is okay to eat, right? Like, it's safe. They're selling it. They wouldn't sell it if it was poison. But the truth is that they don't care. They don't care the disease that it causes. They don't care if you have seizures or heart attacks or a spinal issue or like you die. They don't care if you have an autoimmune issue. Like, they don't care. They don't care. These companies are created for profit. And yes, that stuff should be illegal. When I go into Walgreens randomly to buy batteries or something, I see the foods I used to eat. I see the Snickers bars and the M&Ms, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a scary world where that is still being sold. Like, I'm so far removed from that food that I cannot believe it's still available and anybody can buy it and their kids can eat it. And we're poisoning our kids. And the companies, they're not liable because you made that decision, and that stuff should be legal, just like cigarettes should be legal and alcohol should be legal and all these things. But what can we do? We can only get educated, and we can only start to use our common sense here, which is if you want to be healthy, you have to eat healthy food. That's the truth. And moderation doesn't work, especially if you're a former food addict. It never works. So some people think that I'm like too strict, or like, I see some people on the internet saying that you should indulge or allow yourself to eat certain foods sometimes. If that works for you, then keep doing that. But that didn't work.
I tried it. It hurts.
Yeah. That person never had a food addiction, and that person, they clearly have never been overweight, because once you start eating that food, you want it more and more and more and more, and it hurts when you stop eating it and you start eating it again, and it's just a nightmare. So like, I don't think there's any room for unhealthy, poisonous food in my life and in my body. I don't think it belongs there. So no, I don't indulge ever in unhealthy food, but I do indulge in like healthy food, raw food sometimes, make a cheesecake or make some brownies or make pizza. I indulge in those things, of course, but they have to be made from fruit and vegetables, nuts and seeds, because that's just the boundaries that I have with myself now. I do not I think of my body as a temple, right? So I do not allow things. You wouldn't bring a bag of Doritos and leave the bag inside of a church, right? Like, you wouldn't leave garbage inside of a temple. So why are you putting garbage into your temple? Yeah, and I'm just, yeah.
It took seeing someone like you and really working with someone like you with around fruits. They weren't a coach or anything like that, but just someone that ate fruits. I worked with him for 6 months straight doing, we planted organic. My background before I did this and stuff and starting the podcast and stuff like that or whatever, and social media, was I worked in restaurants for 15 years. And
Wow.
everything you could imagine in restaurants. I opened restaurants around the world. I was in the Middle East when I started this podcast. I interviewed like people in like Saudi Arabia and Israel and Kuwait, like vegans over there. But I learned so much about the food industry, right? And that helped me learn, like, definitely not to eat there, right? And so many things.
How long have you been vegan?
For 8 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And oh wow, the restaurant industry. Yes. So you could tell us a lot about the restaurant industry, how they use the cheapest products possible to make the most money. I'm sure you experienced that.
One crazy example, like when I was opening restaurants in the Middle East, I was part of a franchise and we're opening American food, and I was responsible for one of the pizza brands, right? For opening that brand. But they owned a bunch of other brands. Like, they had a lot of money. That's how they opened these franchises and some of these other places, these American brands. Is someone that has a lot of money franchises it and gets the rights to open at Starbucks and McDonald's or whatever, right? So in this mall that they owned, a lot of the mall, they had 20 Starbucks in this mall. And 22. Two of them, or at least one for sure, maybe two. One I remember specifically was one of the Starbucks Reserved, which is only like this like fancy one. It's like these beans are from Colombia. It's like there's only like two in America or something like that. They had one or two in this mall, right? And they had all these brands, and they had Cheesecake Factory. They own Cheesecake Factory, Texas Roadhouse Grill, like a bunch of other ones, right? But for example, Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people know Cheesecake Factory as being the very, like, a lot of people go there and maybe you think they make a lot of money, right? Based on like how much sales they have or whatever. If they made the most money, like in terms of sales, right? But I saw all their back end, all the bottom line, all the numbers, right? They lost the most money out of all of the restaurants over there, and they made the most money because they ship 100% of their food from America and frozen. They call it Cheesecake Factory, and it's not even a fact. They don't even make them there, right? They ship them from wherever their factory is, right?
Wow.
To the place. But it was just so mind-blowing. The amount of money, the amount of cows killed, the amount of environmental destruction, the amount of destruction on the individuals eating it, right? And then you're like, well, it's for a profit. You're like, okay, well, some people will justify that, right? As some people will justify all this damage for profits. But how can you justify all of this damage for in the red negative profits, like many, many years? It's like just wild.
How can we justify the billions of animals that we are killing daily for profit? And then we also die sooner and create disease in our body because of these animal products, because of this false belief that we need protein. And I mean, this is like a whole nother podcast, right? So have me on again, because I mean, we are obsessed with something that if we don't even need. We are obsessed with something that the more protein in our body, the more disease is formed in our body. So, I mean, our society is extremely sick, and the metaphor you just said about Cheesecake Factory is exactly what's happening with the animal agriculture. The state of our world right now when it comes to food and what we're doing with animals. And it's like, we're losing. We're losing. And the companies are making money, but like it's all for profit, and there's no benefit to eating animals. There's literally no benefit for us besides those companies making money. But I mean, this is so crazy.
Well, I'll wrap up a couple of things I was curious about. One is, I mean, I know we don't have a lot of time, so we'll try and make it quick, but I was just curious, like in general, and I know for me personally, like working with guys is tough in the health world because guys don't give a shit about their health until it's too late, right? And so, like, I get it. Not, of course, there's healthy guys, but in general, most women are more on their health, right? And I've worked with men and worked with women, and I just seen the differences in the challenges for sure. And obviously, I relate more to guys because I'm a guy.
Yes.
There's way less guys caring about their health and want to eat fruits and healthy stuff, right? And there's a lot more women, for sure, right? But I was just curious, like, I know you talk sometimes about not working, or you work mostly with women, right? And I was just curious, is it a choice, based on some of these challenges that you've seen, right? And also just, I was curious, I know it's a challenge that I see with people working with business and stuff, and like being really focused on business and mindset and all the things that you talk about, that sometimes you do a really great job as being really, really feminine and kind and caring and compassionate. But I know that it could be tough being business and this and the masculinity part coming out. I'm just curious about some of those challenges.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't work with men personally because I want to create a safe space for women to be able to feel like they can share vulnerably. And it feels like more safer for a lot of women to just be around other women when they're sharing in these courses that I do. But also, yeah, I mean, I have worked with men in the past, and they have their own challenges. And I don't know, I didn't get too many like serious guys about wanting to be raw. I mean, even when you go to these fruit festivals, it's a lot more women than men, personally, I have found. But there's a lot of guys that really care about their health. And, all my mentors are men, to be honest, when it comes to mindset. But when it comes to health, I don't relate to a lot of the men in the raw food world. They seem to be all like focused on fasting and, just restriction. And I can't do that. I've never been able to do that. So, yeah, I think men and women's bodies are different, but in general, yeah, I do work with women. I find it easier. Not that it's exactly easy, because women are crazy, but we're crazy, but because we're overthinking everything, and we're just like, yeah, I'll be raw when the kids move out, and the kids are like 3 and 4 years old, and it's like, wait, you're gonna wait fucking 14 years? What? Like, I've literally heard that. I've heard, yeah, I'll prioritize my health when they move out. But anyway, the second question about so what was the question about masculine?
Essentially, like how do you maintain your femininity while being in like masculine spaces and stuff like that? Because I mean, I know that's a challenge. It's a challenge for me maintaining my masculinity in feminine spaces in general. Number more feminine kind of stuff.
Yes, it's a great question. I am still working on that, to be honest, because I'm much more in my masculine because of how I feel that I've had to be a business owner, to be on my own, and just, yeah, to take control of my life. All of my mentors are masculine, and to just get control of my food addiction and my fitness. And, so to get more in my feminine, I try my very best to do yoga every day. It really helps, honestly, to get into my body, and then just feel more connected to my body and my breath, and just doing more feminine things. But I'm honestly much more in my masculine, which, I'm still working on. So talking nice to myself, finding time to do things I love, that helps. But yeah, I'm trying to be disciplined all the time, and that's your masculine,
I think
right?
being around a lot of women helps you, and I need to be
Yes.
more than I need to be around a lot more men because I'm around more women because they're more focused on their health.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Being around my community has helped me a lot because it's all women mostly. But I would love to come on again.
Where can people find you? So I know you have to go.
Yes, because I have a 3 o'clock Zoom with a fruity cutie. But basically, you can find me at misfitvegan.com, msfitvegan.com, and check out my YouTube. And I have a podcast as well, the Misfit Vegan Podcast. And I would love to talk again, Kevin. You're so amazing, and we have so much in common. So let's please do this again.
Absolutely appreciate you, and maybe one day I could be on your podcast.
Yes, I don't interview people, but you know what? Maybe you'll be the
yes, that's okay if you don't.
maybe you'll be the first. No, I would love to. I'll have you on my YouTube. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye everyone. Bye, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Please, please, please make sure that you guys share this with anyone that you think will find this interesting, and also make sure that you guys are subscribed, because I can see a lot of you guys are listening, but you aren't subscribed.